This is a world gone mad. This is a world gone mad. Mad, 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 mad.
Welcome back to A World Gone Mad, where Donald Trump still struts like a king without a crown, turning every day into a hostage note and every lie into a loyalty test for the people dumb enough to follow him. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, your unwilling tour guide through this carnival of idiots, liars, and sociopaths who somehow wound up running the demolition derby we call America. It's WTF Wednesday, where the headlines aren't news, they're weapons fired point blank by frauds who call themselves patriots while this country bleeds. If this is your first time listening, welcome aboard. If you're a member of the Wolf Pack, thank you for returning. Either way, you've found your haven. I'm not your babysitter. This isn't a podcast about all of us coming together. I'm here to rip the masks off the crooks in charge, slam their hypocrisy on the table, and yell in their faces, how dare you torch the Constitution just to feed your greed? Your WTF Wednesday edition, because every headline we hear has you asking, what the fuck are they trying to get away with now? What outrageous garbage are they serving up this week? My boxing gloves are on, and it's time to punch my way through all this bullshit. So here we go. So apparently the U.S. military just casually blew up a Venezuelan boat full of suspected drug traffickers. No warrant, no trial, no, hey, maybe we should check who's on board before we unleash the missiles. Nope. Just straight to Michael Bay, the Navy edition. And who gets stuck trying to explain this circus? Rand Paul. The guy who's normally out there filibustering about the price of light bulbs is now stuck saying, hey, normally you board a boat before you decide to blow it up. Rand Paul, defender of nautical etiquette. Because apparently in 2025, we need to remind people you don't skip straight to detonate. But the real showstopper, that's got to be Vice President J D Vance. The man actually said, listen carefully, killing cartel members is the highest and best use of our military. And when asked about whether that's, a war crime, Vance's response was, I don't give a shit what you call it. And J D Vance is next in line supposedly for the presidency? Seriously? I need a drink. Let's just pause there. The Vice President of the United States just redefined international law as, I don't give a shit. That's not policy. That's the attitude of a guy who just parked in a handicap spot because it was closer to the door. And here's the kicker. Republicans spent years branding themselves as the party of law and order. Now they're endorsing murdering ships. That's not law and order. That's pirates with better uniforms. What the hell are they doing? And just when you think the madness couldn't get any weirder, Washington finds a way to embarrass itself. The House Oversight Committee releases Trump's bizarre 2003 birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone's buzzing about the signature. Enter GOP Representative Eric Burlison, who says he'd love to see it. So when CNN's Manu Raju asked if he had seen the note, Burlison said, I have not, but I would love to see it, matched with his handwriting. It just is really, really wild. So what happens? Raju literally hands Burlison the hard copy and says, here's the letter. And Burlison chuckled and said, yeah, I don't want to see that. Think about that. He wants to see it. Then he doesn't want to see it. Then he's on national television dodging it like it's radioactive. The political equivalent of saying, yeah, I'd love to try sushi, but don't bring it near me. This is the cognitive dissonance Olympics. Burleson trying to balance I'm curious with I'm terrified. It's the look of a kid handled broccoli for the first time. And here's the scary part. Not the note, not even Epstein. The scary part is watching an elected official physically recoil from a piece of paper because it might connect Trump to something he can't spin away. That's not oversight. That's willful blindness. And the punchline is he did it live, on the air, for everyone to see. And if Burleson dodging a piece of paper wasn't surreal enough, the White House press room decided to put on its own acrobatic show. On Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt flat out called Trump's Epstein birthday note fake news. Her words, clear as day. By Tuesday, she was asked about it again. Suddenly, the denial machine kicked in. She insisted she never said that, telling reporters, I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax. So let's see, one day it's fake news. The next day it's, no, I didn't say that. It's the narrative that's fake. Then the press secretary went for the big spin. She accused Democrats, and I kid you not, she accused the Democrats of pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, adding, they are now using victims as political props to try to smear the President of the United States and drag on this bad story about him. That's not a press briefing. That's performance art. She denied what she literally said, blamed Democrats, and tried to flip compassion into a weapon. This is word salad politics. Denial on top of blame, on top of virtue signaling. It's logic on steroids, but the kind that makes the whole body collapse. And the press room just sat there watching the spin cycle run in real time. Seriously? They don't have a clue what they're doing. And after watching the White House try to spin reality into word salad, let's come back home to Missouri, where Republicans managed to trip over their own gerrymander. Inside the Missouri House, Republicans were pushing through a map so blatantly gerrymandered it would lock in a 7-1 advantage. 7 Republicans, 1 Democrat. That's not representation. That's monopoly with the dice already loaded. And here's the moment. Republican Representative Tony Harbison, Republican, stood up, looked at his own party and said, our plate is full and this ain't one of them. That's the full line. He admitted out loud that this whole stunt had no business on the floor. The chamber erupted in applause. Finally, someone said what everyone could see. The maps were a joke. The process was shameless. And even Republicans had to clap for a little honesty. But applause is cheap, because right after that standing ovation, they turned around and passed the gerrymandered maps anyway. Think about the hypocrisy. A Republican lawmaker slams his own party for pushing fake lines, the whole room cheers, and then they rush right back and vote yes. That's not governing. That's improv theater, a performance of accountability, followed by business as usual. And your democracy gets carved up into a cartoon sketch. Wolfpack listeners, they just go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And while Missouri politicians are busy redrawing lines on a map to protect their seats, The real lines being crossed are halfway around the world, and they carry consequences far beyond party politics. Wednesday, NATO confirms something we haven't seen before. Polish fighter jets shot down Russian drones after they violated Poland's airspace. Not Ukraine's border, Poland's border, a NATO member. That matters because if Moscow keeps pushing past those lines, it risks triggering Article 5, the part of the NATO treaty that says an attack on one is an attack on all. That's the kind of escalation the world has been trying to avoid since this war began. NATO officials called Russia's actions absolutely reckless, and they're right. Even for Vladimir Putin, this is beyond his normal playbook. He's testing the rails, drifting further off track, and daring the West to see how much it will tolerate. And what was Trump's response? Well, instead of showing leadership or reassurance, he downplayed it, treating a NATO partner under threat as if it was just background noise. This is not leadership. That is negligence dressed up as bluster. Here's the reality. Reckless Russian drones don't just threaten Ukraine. They threaten stability across Europe. When Poland's airspace is breached, it is not a regional issue. It's a global one. Telling you this isn't about scaring anyone. It's about being clear. If Putin keeps pushing past borders, he's gambling with a confrontation NATO cannot ignore. And while the alliance is standing firm, America's voice at the table matters. The question today is simple. Do we act like a leader on the world stage? Or do we let Putin write the rules while our leaders shrug? And just when will anyone in Washington on the Republican side, any leader at all, step up and understand the ramifications of this? I'm waiting. But meanwhile, I'll binge watch something mindless, because we all know this is going to take a lot longer than it should. And after talking about global stakes and real danger, let's swing back home, where Donald Trump once again proves he could brag about cleaning up a mess while standing knee-deep in the trash he left behind. Donald Trump came into Washington promising to empower police and clean up the streets. This wasn't just talk. He invoked emergency powers, he federalized the D.C. police, and he rolled in 800 National Guard troops, along with 500 federal agents, patrol the Capitol. We know this. Now he's sitting at a D.C. diner bragging that the only reason he can eat there safely is because it's safer because of what I did. He claims his actions wiped out death and destruction in the city. Trump now says he's not extending the federal takeover any longer. And he argues the very fact that he isn't extending it is proof that what he did worked. So frigging convoluted is Trump's logic. The reality is he's backing off his police takeover plan because extending it would take Congress to approve, and that means getting some Democratic votes. So Trump spins it as a victory. He says it worked. The city is clean. Mission accomplished. In truth, he knows he can't win that fight with Congress. So he's dressing up the retreat as success. Let's call this what it is. Bullshit. Pure fraud by Donald the delusional one. Trump abandoned D.C. when things were boiling. He treated the city like it was radioactive, and now with the cameras on, he brags it's safer because of him and his actions. That's like the arsonist congratulating himself for how quickly the fire department showed up. This is Donald's entire brand. Create chaos, then walk away. Then brag about the cleanup like Donald was the one holding the mop. It's a carnival trick, listeners, and the audience is supposed to clap while he takes a bow. And if this is what passes for leadership, ducking out of D.C., shrugging at safety, then bragging at dinner like he solved it. Imagine what another term of this circus would look like. So yes, Trump can brag all he wants, but the only thing safer in Washington because of Trump is the hypocrisy. Okay, time to hear from you, the Wolf Pack. Look, to the listeners, I don't need flowers. I don't need chocolates. I just need an email. wolfpacktalks@gmail.com. WOLFPACKTALKS@gmail. Or a voicemail. It's free. 833-399-9653. Please give me your feedback. I keep asking. Give me your rants. Give me something I can use. Because right now my inbox is emptier than Congress on a Friday afternoon. You know what also would be fantastic? If any of you, the listeners, are outside the United States, I'd love to get an email from you. I'm literally building a wall in my studio. I'm printing out emails from different states and pinning them up on the wall. And right now I've only got a small slice of America covered and only one email from outside the United States. So come on, Wolfpack. Let's get every state on the map and every country that's listening to. Please check in. wolfpacktalks@gmail.com. This has been A World Gone Mad, Wednesday, WTF edition. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf. I'll be back Friday because someone has to say the shit that no one else will. And apparently that job's mine. Until then, Wolfpack listeners, stay skeptical, stay focused, and most of all, stay hopeful.